Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFromReviews.com and the Goat From Reviews YouTube channel, and this is my quick thoughts, quick reaction to the new film Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. This is based on the Judy Blume novel from decades ago, and it feels like this is a book I probably would have read in high school, middle school, but I never did. I know that it's kind of geared towards young girls. But like I kind of read everything, so I'm surprised I never got around to reading this book. I think I have it though. So this is a movie I'm seeing it after opening weekend. It did not have a great opening, but it had great reviews, and I was just like, I've got to check this out. This thing has like stellar reviews. Everyone I talk to loves the movie, and I kind of did too. I have like one little nitpick with the film. I think there's Margaret's character makes friends with three other girls early on in the film, and you get the sense that one of the girls is kind of a bully, and then it starts to kind of become that way where it's like, oh, one of the girls is a bully, and it just felt so obvious and kind of poorly written, that little subplot, that it didn't work for me, which is crazy because everything else in the movie worked so well for me. The young actress, I'm blanking on her name, I'm sorry, but I think she was the kid in Ant-Man 1 and 2, before the time jump. I thought she was fantastic. I thought the two of the friends that were in the friend group, again, like that, the leader of the friend group, I don't think the performance was solid, but I also think that's more on the writing than it is on anything else. The writing for that subplot just did not work for me very well, but the two other secondary characters I thought were really, really great. Standout performances. Is it Josh Safdie? I think it's Josh Safdie. It's one of the Safdie brothers plays the dad. He's really great. And again, I'm blanking now on an actress I shouldn't be blanking on, the one from The Notebook. Oh, God, I'm having one of those days. She was great as well. The main star, Rachel McAdams, the main star from The Notebook, was really fantastic. The performances were all stellar all the way through. I really like Kelly Fremon Craig, the director of this film. She also did a movie called The Edge of 17 that I really dug back in, 2017? So this is her second outing as a director, and I think maybe I might prefer Edge of 17, but this is definitely a better made movie. This is a more accomplished, more difficult task, I think, because you're confronting a lot of things with this film that shouldn't be as controversial as they are, but the book was controversial when it came out. The adaptation probably will be as well. You're confronting things like, menstruation, puberty, kind of like a burgeoning femininity in young girls and growing up, and those are things that you shouldn't really have. They shouldn't be controversial. It's also questioning religion, and kind of that connection that we have to an organized religion versus a connection that we have to just a higher power. I think it's a pretty strong faith-based movie as well, or movie about faith, not really faith-based, but it is a movie that's about faith as well, and I do think that it works really well. And that, again, we tend to make movies about faith where like the faith is unwavering, and I think Margaret's story here is so entrenched in it. She's having these conversations with God, but she doesn't really have a religious background because of her parents. And so she's got this kind of personal faith thing that's going on while the film is confronting these organized faiths. And I think that does a really good job of that as well. She's curious as a character. She's questioning her world around her, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yet this movie feels like the one that people are going to talk about in the same way they talked about the book, and it's just ridiculous. We're 50 years on from the time period in which the movie is set, but that's what happens, I guess, when people are afraid or people get nervous. They tend to lash out about things, but you shouldn't be lashing out about Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I saw this movie myself, and I think one of the most special things about it was seeing women who would be about Judy Blume's age, or a little younger, ones who would have, or I guess not Judy Blume's age, but like women who would have been children when this book was published and maybe read it the first couple years it was out. I saw a lot of mothers and daughters at my screening. In fact, I think I was the only single entity there who wasn't with a guest. I went to see the movie by myself, and I'm sure people probably were wondering about that, but I really had a good time watching this movie, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you haven't seen Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, now is your time. Support original film. I know it's based on a book, but it's not a Marvel, it's not a DC, and everyone complains about the lack of original movies nowadays. This is one that's based on a book, but it's fairly an original story, and you're not going to see it, and that's why these movies don't get made as often. So definitely check out Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, when you get a chance. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear about them. While you're down there, please like and subscribe. They're 2 free things you can do that help support the channel immensely, and you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. Once again, you can also find goatfilmreviews.com for my written reviews. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and you can check out my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes up every single week, and there's a Patreon for that as well. All those links are down in the description. We'll see you next time.